Today we're going to be looking at how to determine an equation of a line based on different kinds of information that they give you. And so the line we're specifically looking at though is the slope-intercept line, which you guys can see right here, the y equals mx plus b. And so this is pretty algebraic. There's not any graphing really involved in this. And so when we're creating a equation of a line in slope-intercept form, and they give us different kinds of information and scenarios here, there's only two letters you really need to worry about filling in. I'm sorry, I don't know why this is zooming in here. There's only two letters that you need to worry about filling in when you're giving me a final answer. So the two letters that you really want to focus on is you want to focus on giving me an answer for M at the end and an answer for B. So we leave Y and X just as Y and X, so we don't fill any number in there, but in my final answer I need to have a number filled in for M and I need to have one filled in for B. So just so that you can review that, remember M is our slope, and then B is our y-intercept, okay? So let's start looking at this and let's look at number one. So in number one, basically again the directions are to write an equation in slope-intercept form given, the following information. So in number one I tell you that the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 5. So remember the equation I'm aiming for is y equals mx plus b, and I need to fill in something in the end for m and b. So let's look at what they gave me. The slope is 2. What letter is slope? Slope is m, right? Y-intercept is 5. What letter is y-intercept? Y-intercept is b. So they've given me everything that I need to fill this in. So final answer for this is we leave y the way it is because we don't fill in anything for y. My m is 2 like they tell me. X we leave the way, X we just leave. That plus sign, since the y-intercept is a positive 5, it stays plus. And then B, they told me, like I just said, is positive 5. So that's it. That's all you fill in. So the reason why I color-coded that was that so that you guys could see that y and x stay y and x. The only thing you need to fill in is m and b. Okay? Let's jump over here to number 2. I tell you in this one the slope is negative 1/2. The y-intercept is 7. So let's label what we can. So slope, remember, is m. Y-intercept is 7. So that's b. Y-intercept is b. Here's the equation I'm aiming for. And I want to fill in something for m. I need to fill in something for b. So they've given me everything that I need. Y stays the way it is. M, they told me, was negative 1/2. X stays X. Looking at my B, the 7 is positive, so I can keep this as a plus 7, and then you box it. So for some reason, the y-intercept might be negative. That's okay. All that will happen is that when you plug it in here, it will, let's say this was a negative 7 instead of positive 7, that would have just been negative 1/2 x minus 7. So it's really important that you set this up exactly the way this looks. So you can't just write negative 1/2 x plus 7. You got to have that y equals in the front, okay? 1 and 2 are really basic. They're almost a little too simple, and it would be a lie for me to pretend that it was going to stay that simple. So let's jump to number 3 and 4. So now I tell you that the slope is negative 2, and this line that we're going to create, it passes through 3, 5. So let's label the letters that we can. So slope, like we've known, is m, passes through 3, 5. So they give me a point. What letters from the y, m, x, and b could 3, 5 be? It's not b this time, because if it was b, I would have just told you straight up it's y-intercept, okay? But since they give it to us in a point, what they're telling us is they're giving us x and they're giving us y. Okay, so since they didn't give us b from the get-go, we're going to need to find it ourselves. So remember, here is our line and slope intercept form. Let's plug in everything they've given us, because that will probably help us find b at the end. So y, they tell me right here, 3, 5, y is 5, okay, because in the point, remember, y is the second thing, so y is 5 equals m is negative 2, and we're timesing that to x, so my x is 3, because they told us that in the point. and we don't know what b is, so let's just solve. So here we go. I have 5 equals negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 plus b. Okay, to solve for b, I need to get b by itself, so I got to get rid of this negative 6 here. So remember, to get rid of that, since it's negative, I'm going to add it to both sides. Okay, and so I have these 6's cancel out, and I know now that b equals 5 plus 6, which is 11. And so now I can go, because now I have my m, which is right here, which I gave you from the get-go. And remember, because I need to fill in for m and b, so now I've found what b is. So now it just becomes like a number 1 and 2 problem, where I just plug this in. Final step would be y equals, my m is negative 2, x, and then I found out b was 11. Okay. So yes, we did need the x and y for this one, because since they didn't tell us what b was, we had to go back and figure it out, and so that they could tell us what b was going to equal. Okay, so let's try something similar like that in number 4. So in number 4, I gave you the slope is 1/2, so you know that this is our m. Okay, passes through the point 4, negative 1, and so I have x here, and then I have y here. Okay, and so since they didn't give me my y-intercept from the get-go, I'm going to have to solve for it again. So here's my equation. Let's plug in everything that we know. Y is negative 1, m is 1/2, my x is 4 in this problem, plus b. Okay, we solve, so negative 1 on this side just stays. If it weirds you out how there's that 1/2 times 4, put this guy over 1 and then just go 1 times 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus b. And what's that 4 over 2 going to reduce to? It's just going to reduce to positive 2, right? Okay. So I have that. I got to solve for b, get b by itself. So let's get rid of that 2. These 2's cancel out, and I have negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So yes, I know what my b is now, so I can finally finish this problem out. So remember, in my final answer, I only care about what m and b is. So I know I leave y as y. My m from the get-go I told you was 1/2. I leave x, and then I just found out b was negative 3. So I stick it there, and then there's my final answer. Okay? Alright, so please write down your questions. I hope this is making sense. The reason why we're plugging in x and y is because they don't give us the y-intercept from the get-go, and we need that for the final answer. The 2 things we need is m and b, so that's why we did those extra steps. Okay? Number 5 looks a little weird. You can't even read it, so let's go through this. This is 0, 7. Okay, and then that's 1. Let me just make sure. This is 1, 9. Okay, so this time I'm in trouble because they didn't give me the slope, or they didn't give me y-intercept. They just gave me 2 points. The good thing though is that I taught you guys a few days ago how to find the slope when you have 2 points like this. So if you're given 2 points from the get-go, you're going to have to find the slope yourself, because you have no slope, you have no y-intercept. So the best you can do with 2 points is find the slope. And remember what that looked like? It looked like this: y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, and all you do is you just plug the stuff in here. So my y2 in this problem is 9, right? It's the second point y. And then we're going to subtract that from y1, which is 7. Okay, then we have x2 is 1. And then we have x1 is 0. And now you just simplify, right? On the top, 9 minus 7 is 2. On the bottom, 1 minus 0 is 1, so I just have regular 2. So my m is regular 2, okay? And what happens with number 5 when you have 2 points like this is you solve it like 3 and 4. You just pick whichever point you want to work with. So maybe let's work with the first one. It doesn't matter which point you guys pick. You're going to get the same answer no matter what. I just like the first one because I just chose 0 and 7. So if I wanted to work with 1 and 9, if you don't believe me, you can try 1 and 9 and it will work out. You'll get the same answer no matter what. So just pick your favorite point, but it ends up being exactly the way you solve numbers 3 and 4. So now I know what M is. Okay. I know M is 2. That's what I just solved for right here. Since you pick which point you want to, so it's the same thing, passes through, but in this case it's going to be passes through 0, 7. Or if you chose 1, 9, you would pass through 1, 9. But you solve it the same way. Okay, so, oops. My y in this problem would be 7. Okay, my x would be 0. So I plug this in because I need to find b. 7 equals 2 times 0 plus b. Okay, and so here we go. We have 7. 2 times 0 is 0. So 7 equals b. Now I know what my m is. Now I know what my b is. And now I can finish out the problem. Y equals 2x plus 7. Final answer. Okay. Last one, my friends, let's try number 6. It's another one where I gave you 2 points. So when you see 2 points, you're like, oh shoot, this is the one that has that I'm going to have to do a little more work with. So there's going to be a pre-step to remember to find the slope. So to find the slope, remember I'm doing this y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay. So I go 0 minus 2, 7 minus 5, reduce, so 0 minus 2 is negative 2. On the bottom I have 7 minus 5 is positive 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is going to reduce to what? Negative 1. Okay, so I definitely know now that my m is negative 1. Now we got to pick a point, which one we want to work with. I don't know. Let's go and let's do the first one again, okay? So you don't have to use the first one. If you want to use the 7, 0, that's fine. You will get the same answer. You pick your favorite point. Doesn't matter. Now let's plug in, okay? So here's my x, if this helped you guys out a little bit. Remember, 5, 2, so 5's my x, 2's my y, okay? So I'm going to go 2 equals negative 1 times 5 plus b, okay, and then we solve. We have 2 equals negative 1 times 5 is negative 5 plus 5. We got to get b by itself, so let's get rid of this 5 here. We're going to add 5 and add 5. We're going to cancel that. B equals 2 plus 5 is 7. Now we know what b is, so we're good to go. So my m is negative 1, my b is 7, and you just plug it in here. So y equals negative 1x or negative x. It's up to you if you want to put the 1 in the front. Negative x plus 7. Okay, so there's your final answer, and that's pretty much it. So you just kind of got to look at what kind of problem they give you. Let me scroll up to the best I can. If you look at all the green ones, so some of the problems I'll give you the slope and the y-intercept from the get-go, and you just plug it in. Easy stuff. Some of the problems I'll give you the slope and then one point, like one point, and you'll just have to plug it in into the slope-intercept form equation to solve out. Or the third type of problems, I give you 2 points and you're going to have to find the slope first and then repeat by picking your favorite point and then plugging it in to solve for b. Okay? The only thing you need to remember, the number one thing is in your final answer, you only are plugging in a number for m and b. Okay? And that's it. So don't forget to take the quiz.